Effects mark test 1 2. Effects mark test 1 2.
Well, it is, of course, the final weekend of summer, and the weather gods have absolutely turned it on for us on the Central Coast here today. As the kids would say, an absolute day for it. Here at Plume Park, a picture-perfect Plume Park, in fact, as we conclude round 3 of New South Wales NPL men's action. It is the Central Coast Mariners playing host to Blacktown City. Very warm welcome to Plume Park for those of you tuning in this afternoon. An absolute pleasure to have your company wherever it is you may be watching from. Pete Pryor on the call with you this afternoon to take you through all the action as it unfolds live on the Football New South Wales YouTube channels. The team news is in. There is a bit of it to get through, so without further ado, we will start, of course, with the hosts this afternoon, the Mariners Academy. 5 changes, all told, for Lucas Valela's side. Able to welcome back a number of those who travelled with the Mariners senior side over to Japan for their final Asian Champions League elite clash. Out dropped El Helou, Clunas, and Pota, Kasabi and Wade. In come DeLima, Paragali, Shikluna, Brantman and Wachowski. We'll take you through the full lineup, of course. As we just mentioned there, in goal returns Jack Wachowski. The number 2, Luca Pecora. The number 3, Michael Paragali, will partner number 4, Rocco Smith, at the heart of defence. Number 5, Ben Mewett, will operate at left back. Number 7, Aok Mo, the 8 and captain this afternoon, returning to the starting 11, Lucas Shikluna. Number 10 will be Arthur DeLima. We expect him to lead the line for the Mariners tonight. The 11, Jai Rose. The 19, Prayag Tapa. And the 37, of course, Bailey Brantman. For the Travellers this afternoon, Blacktown City, just the one change from Mark Crittenden's side, enforced by that red card to Grant Lynch in last week's defeat to Spirits FC. In goal, of course, retains his spot, Caden Henderson. The 3 coming in to replace the suspended Grant Lynch this afternoon will be Jared McKinley. 4 will be Lachlan Campbell. 6, Adam Berry. 7, Travis Major. 8, Jack O'Brien. 9, Keanu Moore. 14, Mitch Malia. 16, Ben Berry. 18, Nick O'Brien. And 23, Jacob Kresnar. Right on cue, the whistle blows, and away we go to conclude round 3 here on the coast. The Mariners getting us underway, kicking from right to left on your screens. Tapa. Head up and scanning and finding an option square. It's Pecora. Shikluna. Back with Paragali, who has been operating as a centre-half this season. Perhaps his more favoured position. We did see him operating as more of a fullback, a right-sided fullback throughout the course of 2024. Loose pass from Viewers is easily intercepted by Adam Berry, and Blacktown now with a chance to string a few passes together. It's Moore. Wide it goes for Kresnar. Familiar name around these parts, of course, Jacob Kresnar. One of a number of those in the Blacktown lineup today with connections to the Central Coast. Here's McKinley. Taken off his toe by Mo. Able to regather it, and they'll just look to reset with Ben Berry, and now Lachlan Campbell. All the way back to Caden Henderson. Intercepted there smartly by Jai Rose. Now it's Shikluna. Lucas Valela will be very happy indeed to be able to welcome back players like Lucas Shikluna on the ball. Here he is. Just adding a little bit more experience, which they have perhaps I should say, my apologies, lacked in the opening couple of rounds. So we hear the drums start over the far side. The Yellow Army in full voice. McKinley, oh, he's just lost his bearings momentarily. few words exchanged there between McKinley and Travis Major as well. Travis Major seemingly rather unimpressed somewhat. They'll have it back, though, through O'Brien. Good-looking ball, this for Malia. Mitchell Malia blocked off. Good defending from, I think that was Pecora tracking back. First corner of the afternoon in favour of Blacktown City. It's a crucial block, one that had to be made there. It was indeed Pecora coming across to effect the covering challenge. Right as Mitchell Malia pulled the trigger there. He's another one with Coast connections, of course. Came through the academy ranks here on the Central Coast. Had some A-League action as well. Variation on the corner. It's Moore. Adam Berry. Swung in towards the penalty spot and repels as far as McKinley, who will loft it forward once more. Comfortable for Jack Wachowski. Paragali. Smith now. Here's Bailey Brandman able to turn and get his head up and look to release a teammate. Arthur DeLima bursting into the area now. DeLima has options inside, one of who is Mo. Opts to go outside instead. Crossed in towards Rose. Looked for the flicked finish. Didn't quite get the connection it needed, though. Bright signs from the hosts there. A wonderful ball from Bailey Brandman as well to pick out DeLima. Going from one end of the pitch to the other in a blink of an eye. We haven't seen that yet from the Mariners so far this season. And as we said, the ability to be able to welcome back players like Brandman and Shikluna and DeLima, who all have A-League experience now, might prove quite telling indeed. DeLima, little touch around the corner. He'll get the return pass as well, DeLima. Now it's Mo. Couldn't quite reel it in. He's offside in any case. Kresnar was there first. Flag halting any further progress from the home side. Ben Berry. Now Adam Berry. Campbell. Across the back it goes. Lofted forwards. Rocco Smith will step in. Unable to really take control of the situation, though. Well, in this case he does. Now it's Brandman. Twisting and turning and awaiting some supports. Just on a bit of a different wavelength there to Mo. DeLima really making a nuisance of himself. Had a handful and then some of Ben Berry. It's an easy one for the referee, Joel Crawford, to give. As we said, Joel Crawford, referee today, as this ball is just swung in again towards the penalty spot. Headed, well, backwards just about. DeLima contesting that one with Campbell. He'll have the free kick as well, Arthur DeLima. Joel Crawford, centre referee today. Amir Hosnani and Jasper White, the two assistant referees. Kyle Hawkins, the fourth official. Back underway, sneakily. And speaking of sneakily, that's a very sneaky looking ball in behind there from Brandman. Caden Henderson alert to it, off his line quickly to snuff out the danger that was potentially brewing. And Blacktown now look to mount a foray forward of their own. Swung in by Kresnar. Didn't really get the direction required on the cross. Wachowski happy to watch that harmlessly behind in the end. Both sides coming into this contest today on the back of rather heavy losses in round 2. Spirit FC had the better of Blacktown last weekend by 4-0. Spirit FC, David Perkovic really doing wonderful things there. They're in action elsewhere against Apia this afternoon. Speaking of Apia, an absolute demolition job it was from them at this venue last week. Running over the top of the Young Mariners by 6-2. Here's Shikluna. Mewett. Forced back to Paragali and all the way back to Wachowski. Goes long this time. DeLima dropping in to try and get a touch on the ball. Campbell will pick it back up for Blacktown. McKinley, Campbell, Ben Berry now. Jack O'Brien didn't quite stick the pass, but Major able to retrieve it, and he'll get the return pass as well, Travis Major. First time cross towards the back post this time, headed half clear by Mo. Rocco Smith will just launch this one upfield. No nonsense centre half is Rocco Smith. Fierce competitor, of course, as well. Had 3 red cards for his sins last season, including one on debut in that round 1 encounter against Sydney United here at this venue. Over 12 months ago that was now. Seems to have matured very nicely into that starting centre-half role. And he might have some more defending to do here as well. Slaloming through is Kresnar. Just delays. Finds some support here as well. Eventually it is swung in towards the back stick. Arriving is O'Brien. Bobbled around everywhere. Wachowski eventually able to gather that one and clutch it to his chest. And it looks like Paragali might have taken a bit of a whack for his troubles there as well. Joel Crawford across to assess the Mariners' centre half. Paragali's back up and about now, which is good signs for the Mariners. Back underway via drop ball. I do miss the days of the old contested drop ball though. Wachowski eventually inviting the pressure and then picking that one up and rolling it out, getting us back underway. Wachowski again now. Goes long this time in the direction of Mo. Unable to bring it under his spell. First time ball out wide from Malia. Kresnar's overlapping. Instead, go back to Ben Berry. Maybe thought about the cross. Instead, just opts to play square with Campbell. Again, it's Kresnar wide who swings this one in the direction of Travis Major, who was lurking with real dangerous intent. Repelled once again by Smith. Out for a throw in. Here's Kresnar again. Fantastic motor on the fullback as he looks to get around the outside of Pecora, who times his challenge well. Another Blacktown corner. Kresnar, one of a number of new signings for Blacktown and Mark Crittenden's side this season, of course. Returning after a spell in NPL Victoria. In swinging delivery from the corner this time. Wachowski comes and gets a couple of good fists to it. It's a loose touch from Mo, though, putting himself under a bit of pressure here. McKinley coming forward to affect that pressure, and he'll win the throw-in as well. Big Timber coming forward, of course, for Blacktown. Or in Travis Major's case, staying forward. Ben Berry's forward as well. Hoisted in towards the near post. Pinballing around everywhere. There's half-hearted appeals for a penalty. Joel Crawford unmoved, and the Mariners will look to transition rapidly here with Rose. He's got Mo wide, and Rose is just absolutely barged off it by Keanu Moore, who pleads his innocence, feeling that the contact was shoulder to shoulder in the spirit of a footballing challenge. Perhaps a bit of a physical mismatch, in all fairness, between Keanu Moore and Jai Rose. In any case, it will be Lucas Shikluna to get us back underway. Mo, Shikluna. Mo just offering the wall pass there. Now able to work it wide to Mewett and Rose. Back to goal. Perhaps needed a bit more support earlier there, Rose. It's well done, Ben Berry, winning the throw in there as well. He had two Mariners right on top of him. Launched back in. Rocco Smith just lets it bounce. Paragali will retrieve it. Now keep your eye on this battle between Smith and Malia as well. A few words exchanged between the wily old Mitch Malia and the young, youthfully exuberant, I should say, Rocco Smith. Here's Pecora for the Mariners. Mo. Shikluna. Mewett wants it on this near touchline. He won't get it. Jai Rose will. Mewett really wants it on this near touchline and now will receive it. Paragali. Shikluna. Something cooking here for the coast, perhaps. Shikluna. Tupper leaves it. Bruntman looked to return it to Tupper. Just left it a touch short, though. Blacktown will look to get forward quickly. Malia in towards Major. Major able to free his feet. Always rising. Just a sighter from Travis Major, who had a few months on the coast himself as well in the Mariners senior setup. Might actually be quicker to list the players that haven't come through or haven't had a Mariners connection in some way. Wachowski sending the short options forward this time. Hoisted in the direction of DeLima. Rising was Ben Berry. Towering figure at the back he is. Tupper. Adam Berry was touch tight and Tupper unable to bring it under any real sort of meaningful control. Blacktown now will look to play their way out. Ben Berry carrying it forwards. Good looking release to find Travis Major. It's just a little ahead of Major. Wachowski hesitated momentarily, but was decisive enough in the end. Played out centrally for Shikluna. Back to Wachowski. He's able to release it quickly enough under the press of Keanu Moore in the direction of Mo. Free kick conceded though. So Adam Berry across to take the resulting set piece. Again, Big Timber forward. Swung in towards the back stick. The flag is up. Offside is the call in the end. Tough from our vantage point to see exactly who the guilty party was. Of course, one apiece last time these two sides met at Plume Park back in 2024. Free kick taken short. Wachowski might have just played his way into a bit of trouble there as it was cut out by Moore. Pecora again on scene to steal in just ahead of Kresnar at the expense of another corner though. Corner count really mounting up here for Blacktown. Moore across to take. He just looked to swing this one in, perhaps right on top of Wachowski. Sending the short options away as well. Swung in towards that near post area again, and Wachowski commanding his area. Plucks that one out of the sky. As we said, one fixture on elsewhere at the moment. If you don't want spoilers, block your ears now. Currently in Leichhardt, it's 1-0 in favour of Spirits FC over Apia. We'll try and bring you news on the goal scorer as soon as possible. Shikluna giving Rocco Smith a bit of a puzzle to figure out there. That's using your head, Rocco. Nodded down to Pecora, who looks to release Arthur DeLima. Couple of touches to juggle his way into the area. Supporting cast is Mo. Goes around the outside of his defender and looks to pull it back into the area. Just ran out of real estate on the byline there, Ayok Mo. Himself one of a number of new faces in this Mariners Academy side this year. Coming across from Sydney FC. McKinley has the beating of Rose. Malia, Major, blocked off by Smith. Again stepping in to take control of the situation. Paragali concedes the ball under the pressure of Malia, who will swing it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Blacktown are absolutely howling for a penalty. Again, referee unmoved. On we go through the first 20 minutes here at Plume Park in round 3. The score still 0-0 between the Mariners Academy and Blacktown City. It is Pete Pryor with you, of course, on behalf of Football New South Wales. If you're just joining us, an absolute pleasure to have your company, as it always is. Ben Berry, wide it goes. McKinley. Campbell. Helped on by Nick O'Brien to Kresnar. Unable to stick the pass, though. Lucas Shikluna in the way, who will himself carry it forward and carry it over halfway as well. Now it's DeLima. Mewett is underlapping this time. DeLima might just look to go himself. Needs some support. Finds some in the form of Shikluna. Moves it on to Tapa. Pecora. Sizing up the cross. Caden Henderson came and got a hand to it in the end. Wasn't regulation, but anywhere will do. Good sliding challenge from Malia to win it off the toe of Paragali. Now bursting into the area. Malia! Never any doubts. Mitchell Malia breaks the deadlock here at Plume Park. A tidy, composed finish from the veteran, the former Coastie himself. No stranger to scoring goals at this venue. And he's got another one for the repertoire. Another one for the highlights reel. Blacktown City lead by 1-0 on the coast. 9 goals last season, of course, Mitch Malia. And it has to be said, it's probably come from a Mariners defensive error. Paragali gifting the ball really to Mitchell Malia. Take nothing away from the tenacity of Malia to win it off the toe of Paragali initially, though. And he opens his account for the season. Of course, how will the Mariners respond? Shikluna. Brantman just offering the wall pass again. Back to Rocco Smith. Paragali. Rocco Smith, oh, he's left it a little bit behind, and, well, in any case, it was over the top of Ben Mewett as well. Just not measuring that one entirely correctly. And Blacktown look to go bang-bang here. It's half cleared by Smith. Now Rose. Shikluna under heavy pressure. A lot of traffic in that central area. Brantman able to dig it out and find Rose, who is again bundled off it. Well, Blacktown don't agree with it, but they don't have to. Going through the back of Jai Rose there was Nick O'Brien. And he's picked up a yellow card for his sins as well. A bit of a quick meeting of the minds there between Brantman and DeLima. Both of whom, of course, offer exceptional delivery, as does Lucas Shikluna as well. All three players, wonderful technicians. DeLima will walk away from this one. So Shikluna or Brantman. Shikluna, of course, the right-footed option. Brantman, the left-footed option. Maybe a little too far out to think about the direct routes, but, of course, not beyond either of these players' capabilities. Just two in the wall. It looks like it will be Brantman. Swinging it all the way behind. Well, that's perhaps a prime example of the curse of the commentator there, just lauding the excellent delivery of Bailey Brantman. His first one for the season. Not quite measured. Hey, Caden Henderson under a bit of pressure there from DeLima, able to just move it on to Ben Berry. He'll take the aerial route, a good amount of verticality there to find Travis Major. Had it all to do, though. Unable to beat the three Mariners players that surrounded him. Brantman, little layoff there for Shikluna. Campbell's absolutely touch tight. Shikluna able to free it for Brantman, who is brought down rather agriculturally and has a few words to say about it as well. Lucas Villela on the Mariners bench is absolutely apoplectic as well that a card has not been brandished. In fairness to the referee, I think he's just given the player a bit of a ticking off and said, that's your absolute last warning. Again, positive signs from the Mariners as they look to transition quickly. They'll have a free kick for their troubles. This time, DeLima to take. To swing it in towards the area. A bit happening there as well. Rocco Smith, perhaps unsurprisingly, at the centre of it all. Travis Major has continued his remonstrations with the referee as well after the fact. And Rocco Smith and Jack O'Brien are continuing their tete-a-tete in the background as well. Well, I said keep your eye on the battle between Smith and Malia. Maybe keep your eye on the battle between Smith and Blacktown. Henderson gets us back underway. Over halfway, Dry Rose rising and off the back of the head of McKinley, out for a Mariners throw. Mewitz finding Shikluna, who is dragged down there. Moore doesn't agree. Half-hearted protestations from the Blacktown Sissy, number 9. Well, as we said, the Mariners come into this one searching for their first 3 points of the season. Of course, the loss in round 1 to Manly United and round 2 to Upia Leichhardt. A loss here today would, in fact, equal their record for the worst start of an NPL competition. They did get their first win last season in round 3. If they are to get anything out of this one, they certainly have a job to do. Find themselves a goal behind, courtesy of Mitch Malia, but looking to perhaps fashion something here. Shikluna, up in the sky it goes. Mewitz tussling with Major, and then Rose tussling with Major. Major finding Jack O'Brien. Guess who's there to cut the ball out? It's Rocco Smith. Here's Dry Rose. Good sliding challenge to take it away from him by O'Brien. Back to Ben Berry. And they'll work their way out from the back. Nick O'Brien now. Henderson will put his foot through it and send it back over halfway and over the head of Pecora. Under immense pressure from Kresnar again. He's done well, Pecora, to recover. And the Mariners will just look to get their foot on the ball and try and dictate the tempo a little bit here. Paragali. Smith. Paragali wants it to go forward. Does in a roundabout sort of way. Pecora. Dinking one in behind for Arthur DeLima, who's one-on-one with Campbell. Has Mo overlapping. Played off the legs of Campbell. Out for just a throw-in at the end of it. DeLima forced back to Rocco Smith. Himself finds himself under a little bit of pressure there. Paragali. Mewis wants it again on this near touch line. Instead it goes out to the right. Pecora. Loose pass though. Straight at the feet of Nick O'Brien. Now Kresnar going through the gears. Swings in the cross. Mewit there first. Just ahead of Jack O'Brien. And Jack O'Brien happy to watch it over the byline for another Blacktown City corner. 15 or so minutes to go until the interval here at Plume Park. Mitch Malia the difference so far. Blacktown looking to perhaps add a second from the set piece here. In swinging delivery from the corner. Stood up towards the back post. Hung in the air for an age. Mo eventually gets it cleared out of the 18. Fancy is going to come straight back at them. Turn on the swivel from Moore and then a scything challenge after the fact as well. The ball seemed like it was long gone and it's good refereeing to just see how that would play out. No advantage did accrue at the end of it. And Joel Crawford happy to pull it back for the free kick. Mewis again wants it on this near touch line. Might receive it this time. Well, Rose gets there first. Dry Rose. And Shikluna. Shikluna assessing the options in front. Looks to open up the point of attack to the far touchline with Mo. Pecora supporting. Striding forwards. Finding Brantman. Mo. Unable to advance any further. Well-timed challenge to take it off the toe of Mo. They'll have it back by way of throw-in, though. Pecora across to take. Shikluna. That metronome in midfield is Lucas Shikluna. Now this time Rocco Smith is bundled off it, and it's swung in centrally for Malia. And now more. Lucas Shikluna not shirking his defensive duties there. That's an excellent piece of defensive work from Shikluna. Leading by example, of course. Danger was brewing. As it stands, just the one goal separating the two sides. We can bring you an update from Leichhardt as well. Spirit have added a second. 2 goals to the good, our Spirit FC over Apia Leichhardt. Afuka scoring the first and Kavanagh adding a second just about 10 minutes ago. As we said, David Perkovic's side are absolutely humming along this season. Live action here, as we said. Mitch Marley is the difference between these two sides. And now Kresnar looking to cook something else up. Swung into the area, straight on the head of Rocco Smith. Malia wants it in the half space. Instead it will go all the way wide to Major, who will fizz it in towards the top of the box where McKinley was arriving late. Clearance rocketing off the legs of McKinley in the end and behind for just a goal kick. One in the air under very little pressure now. More with the layoff. Kresnar again, making his presence felt. Pecora again timing that sliding challenge to absolute perfection to block off the cross at the expense of the umpteenth corner of the game for Blacktown City. Tussle on the goal line as well. Meanwhile, between Mewett and Lachlan Campbell. Eventually this will be swung into the area towards the near post. Rising again is Rocco Smith over his opposite number 4. Fizzed in by McKinley. Well, it's audacious. But if you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. Didn't have the winning numbers on that occasion. Ticking into the final 10 minutes of the half here at Plume Park. Wachowski clips it forward towards Brantman. Little flicks header towards Rose, who looks to have switched flanks with Ayok Mo. It's well worked. Little triangles forming there for the Mariners. Brantman now able to free Ben Mewett. And now Mo. Into the area goes Ayok Mo. Unable to free his feet, though, and get the shots away. It pops back out for Mewett, and now Tupper. As the Mariners look to restore parity. Shikluna lofting one over the top for Mewett. Swung in centrally. No one arriving for the Mariners, though. Moore dropping deep to help out his defence. In the end, just a Blacktown throw. Marley has dropped in. Over his head it will go towards Major. Rising was Tupper. Down towards Campbell, who just lost his bearings. Now Arthur De Lima lays it off for Jai Rose. Fantastic save, Caden Henderson. It looks for all money like Jai Rose would restore parity for the Coast. That's an excellent piece of goalkeeping, and, well, that's perhaps the easiest yellow card the referee will give. Luca Pecora had a very good handful of the shirt. Arthur DeLima in that sequence of play just moments ago, taking the unselfish option. And my apologies, correction on that yellow card. That's actually gone in the direction of Prayag Tapa for the drag back on halfway. It's perhaps a foul he had to make. This one is swung in once again towards the back stick. Arriving is Major, twisting, turning. Now McKinley. Well-timed challenge from Mewett, who felt that there was some contact after the fact as well from McKinley. Mewett stayed down. Mewett's back up and about in any case. It will be Jack Wachowski to get us back underway here. Wachowski sending it long towards DeLima again. Rising. Falls at the feet of McKinley, who was stretching to try and keep it in play, unable to in the end. DeLima. Just a little ahead of Ben Mewett there, under the press of Jack O'Brien. Unable to reel it in. McKinley hoisting it back into play. Mewett nods it forward towards Shikluna. It's immediately pressed by Adam Berry. Shikluna forced back to Wachowski, who had to deal with the bouncing ball. Free kick going in favour of the Mariners. It looked fairly innocuous, in fairness. The referee certainly has a much better vantage point than I do, though. And from the Mariners' point of view, anyway, it just releases that pressure valve somewhat. Paragali centrally for Brantman. Again, just acting as that wall pass back to Smith. Paragali's played his way into a bit of trouble and spotted Wachowski off his line. Hung in the air for an age, and I think perhaps I fancy the wind may have got hold of that one a little bit here at Plume Park. It has been a bit of a blustery afternoon. Wachowski able to just collect that one around chest height in the end. Brantman, good-looking release in the direction of DeLima. Henderson again quickly off his line to snuff out the danger. Henderson looked like he was sending everyone forward in the end. Happy to play short, retain possession. O'Brien back to Henderson. Back to O'Brien. In the direction of Moore. Flicked on for Kresnar. This is good from Blacktown. Swung in towards Major. Mewett there first. Forced to concede a corner. Oh, City would be delighted to add a second before half-time. Here's Major. Reverse pass for Malia. It's his goal that's the difference. Now Berry puts it right on top of Wachowski, who rises highest to pluck that one out of the afternoon sky here in Lisarow. Mewett. Mo using the full width of the pitch here. Aok Mo turning one way and the other, leaving McKinley in his wake, and then McKinley had a very good fistful of the shirt of Aok Mo. Referee waited to see how that one would develop, eventually pulling it back for the free kick. Tarpa. Rocco Smith, not happy with the options presented in front. Paragali will swing it wide towards Mo, who's going to be pinged for a bit of a high foot there as he looked to stretch and reel that one in. Jared McKinley, well, of course, he'll be in no real sort of hurry to get things back underway. Neither will Caden Henderson, of course. Joel Crawford, referee, eventually just giving a bit of a hurry up to the Blacktown City custodian, who will resume service here as he sends it back towards his opposition's 18-yard box. Mo will reel it back in for the coast. Now Mewett. Just forced to put his foot through that one, Mewett. Didn't really have any alternative. Campbell. In towards Jack O'Brien. Cleared once again. Brantman rising. Nick O'Brien gets there first, and now Moore. And now Kresnar, who's been lively this afternoon, of course. Jacob Kresnar. Back on the ball here. Low delivery. Rocco Smith stretching every sinew to reach it and does so. Well, we tick towards the final minute or so here at Plume Park. Looks like we will just have the regulation 1 minute of added time, if I can read fourth official Kyle Hocking's board correctly from here. And just like it was in this fixture last season, it looks like the Mariners will be going to the sheds a goal down. Perhaps even two if the delivery's good enough here. The wind really getting hold of that one there. Travis Major arriving late. Wachowski rising highest. The board does go up. Just the 1 minute, as we said. Paragali. Pecora wants it on the far touchline. Paragali saying, I'm not playing my way through that traffic. Mo. Dragged back by Adam Berry. Referee says on we go. Brantman able to turn and free himself. Riding a couple of challenges here and then is eventually hauled to the deck by Nick O'Brien. And perhaps just one final chance at the end of the first stanza for the Mariners. So Shikluna to deliver. There's plenty happening on the edge of the 18 as well. Tarpa and Bailey Brantman at the centre of it for the Mariners. Any number of Blacktown City players heartily involved as well. There's plenty of words being exchanged. Meanwhile, Paragali's making his way across to receive some running repairs, it seems. So the Mariners might just have to see out the half, or what's left of it, with 10. Shikluna to get us back underway. Flat sort of delivery. Easily dealt with. And on we go. Malia wants it wide. It might just come to him here as well. Mitch Malia looks to swing it in towards the back stick. Travis Major again arriving late. And that will indeed be the final action of what has been a very entertaining first half here at Plume Park between the Mariners Academy and Blacktown City. As we said, Mitch Malia's goal is the difference. And they'll go back to the sheds. At Blacktown 1, Central Coast Mariners 0. Do make sure that you join us for the second half in about 15 or so minutes' time. A very warm welcome back indeed, of course, to the Central Coast here as we conclude round 3 of New South Wales NPL men's action. Here in leafy Lisarow, the Central Coast Mariners trailing by 1-0 at the interval, courtesy of Mitchell Malia for Blacktown City, a former Mariners Academy product himself. No shortage of Mariners connections in this Blacktown side. And speaking of Mariners and Blacktown connections, of course, an absolute legend of Blacktown City, Matty Lewis. A quick shout out to him and the family there, of course. Going through a little bit of a tough time of it at the moment with his beautiful son Albie recently being diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. There is a bit of a fundraiser being organised, a GoFundMe to support the wonderful Lewis family. Make sure that you do keep your eye on the Football New South Wales match report following this game for all the details on how you can help support the Lewis family there. It will be Blacktown to resume hostilities here at Plume Park for the second half. Kicking from right to left on your screens. The sun has disappeared behind us here in the grandstand at Plume Park. 45 minutes of action to keep us warm though. Doesn't look like any changes for either side at half-time. Ben Mewett tangling with McKinley. Able to link up with a teammate. The cross coming in the direction of Moore. Cleared as far as Moe. And now DeLima will try and get around the outside of Campbell. First touch just took it a little bit too far ahead of himself, though. A brief break in play for the referee, just to check on the well-being of Aokmo, who's back up and about, albeit a little gingerly. Back on the ball here is Mo. Mewett now. Travis Major was touch tight. Took it off the toe of Mewett. Just a throw in at the end of it for the Mariners. Brantman looking to return it straight away to Mewett. It was a difficult one to try and bring under his spell. Forced into touch in the end. Hoisted in. Rising was... I feel it was Tupper. No, it wasn't actually. It looks like we have had a change at half-time, and we'll look to bring you confirmation on that in just a moment. Coming out in the direction of Kresnar. Kresnar able to reach it. Ahead of Pecora. Now Malia to swing it in towards the back stick. 2-0. Cool as you like. The Iceman, Travis Major, within 3 minutes of the restart, has doubled Blacktown's advantage here. Kresnar and Malia are at the centre of it in the lead up. And cool as you like. Travis Major makes absolutely no mistake from there. Well, it's certainly been coming, that goal you feel for the Major. He's toiled hard this afternoon. And now has a goal rewarding his efforts. Well, 2 false starts on the resumption of play, according to Joel Crawford. Third time's a charm, hopefully. Yes, it is. Back underway. Josh Rose was his father, of course, had a very successful stint in the Mariners senior setup. Jai looking to forge his own path now. Shikluna with the raking crossfield ball in the direction of Mo. He couldn't quite keep it in play. Well, we can bring you news from elsewhere as well. Down in Leichhardt, Spirit FC are absolutely flying. They've added a third. That one currently in the 60th minute. Spirit FC 3, Upper Leichhardt 0. Live action here at Plume Park, of course, as we said, sees us at 2-0 in favour of Blacktown. Mitch Malia opened the scoring in the first stanza. Travis Major adding a second just a moment ago. Shikluna able to turn out of trouble, finding Brantman. Shikluna again. Tupper wanted it square. Shikluna using Rocco Smith and now Pecora. Oh, just on a different wavelength to Jai Rose there. Malia now for Blacktown. Presnar overlapping and receiving. One touch to set himself. Returns it to Mitchell Malia now. Adam Berry measuring the cross towards the back stick. It's right on top of Wachorski, who had to backtrack, and he's done quite well in fairness. Under a bit of pressure there as well, Jack Wachorski. It's a real teasing, tantalising sort of delivery that from Adam Berry. Pass is left just a little bit behind Pecora. He's able to pick it back up and now looks to play one into the half space towards Rose. Nick O'Brien there first. Caden Henderson under some immense pressure from Arthur DeLima. Forced to just send that one into the grandstand here at Plume. Well, as I said, it looks like we may have had a change at half-time, but it looks like we might have just had a jersey swap. I don't believe it's a change in personnel. The number 16 operating at centre half next to Rocco Smith, I believe, is Michael Paragali, who started the game wearing the number 3 jersey, but did have to leave the field just before the interval with what appeared to be a bit of a bloodied nose. So I suspect that perhaps he's been forced as a result of that to change his jersey. Here's Rocco Smith cutting that one out ahead of Major. Tupper, good strength from Tupper. Now Shikluna. Rose. Pecora. It stayed forward. Now Rose looks to drive inside. Shikluna keeps it moving. Brantman. Shikluna. Mo. What can the Mariners conjure here? Rose. Good save from Henderson. And now the Mariners are absolutely howling for a penalty themselves. They'll have to just get on with it though. Blacktown look to hit back immediately. Major and Malia now awaiting the supporting cast arriving in the form of Kresnar. Side to side it goes. Ben Berry will swing it wide now towards Moore. McKinley and Mewett tangling, tussling, tangoing, and eventually conceding the free kick is McKinley, just clipping the heels of Ben Mewett, who's no stranger to late challenges today, Ben Mewett. Mo. Mewett forced back to Paragali. Wachorski. Paragali. Pecora has made an interesting looking foray forward on this near touch line. Towards DeLima it goes. Dealt with by Campbell. The whistle goes for the free kick in favour of Blacktown, and the yellow card brandished as well for the foul on Ben Berry. Jacob Kresnar wanted it delivered quickly on this near touchline. The referee just noting down the yellow card recently issued. Driven into the area, the wind taking it back out of the area. Contact in the back of Jack O'Brien from Rocco Smith. We've got a handful of each other's jerseys, really. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Just a goal kick at the end of it, and, well, a bit of gamesmanship, in fairness, from Jacob Kresnar as well, just making Luca Pecora go the extra yards to retrieve the ball. Once again, the Mariners playing their way short and maybe playing their way into trouble from the goal kick. Shikluna is less than pleased. And then the Blacktown players, well, making their frustrations known. The referee initially awarding a goal kick, but under the protests of the Blacktown City players, revised his decision. So another corner for Blacktown City. Variation worked short to Malia. Now Adam Berry with a couple of yards to fashion the cross. Stood up towards the back stick. Twisting and turning is Jack O'Brien. Prayag Tapper emerges with it, though. And emerges with the free kick as well, after having his heels clipped. Well, it might have been actually the flag up on the far touchline. In any case, Jack Wachorski will eventually get us back underway. Lucas Shikluna just operating as a boot technician at the moment. And he's all right to continue. Paragali gets us back underway. Wachorski will send this one flat towards halfway and straight onto the noggin of Kresnar. Pecora retrieves. Smith. Now Pecora with a bit of space to stride into. Pecora. Not the pass that's required, though, from Pecora. And frustration perhaps creeping in for the Coast. They had a bright opening start, or bright opening half, I should say, to this one. But nothing to show for it on the scoreboard thus far. Dry Rose came the closest. Of course, drew a wonderful save out of Caden Henderson in the first half. That was the opportunity to draw level. But immediately after the interval, Travis Major added a second. And the Coast with a mountain to climb if they are to get anything out of this one. Pecora. Immediately pressed is Tupper. Contact through the back of, well, my apologies, that was actually Paragali. Contact through the back of Paragali in the end, and Rocco Smith to take the resulting free kick. Finds a channel, finds an avenue for Shikluna, who in turn releases Pecora. Using the full length of the pitch that time, Pecora. Outswinging delivery is repelled over the touchline. Jai Rose. Still Rose. Releases DeLima. Looks to pull it back. Final touch off Ben Berry there, and behind for, well, a rare Mariners corner. Bailey Brantman to swing this one in. Dry Rose coming across to offer a short option. Brantman uninterested. Well, the referee's got a bit of sorting out to do here on the goal line as well. Tangle between Aok Mo and a couple of City players. Mo making a nuisance of himself. And now everyone just creeping in a little bit closer. I fancy Brantman might just look to put this right on top of Henderson. Swung in towards the back post, and Henderson, a comfortable claim for the goalkeeper, plucking that out of the air with relative ease. Good challenge from Mewitz. Didn't have the pass to match though. Able to recover it a second time, but Adam Berry will have it back for Blacktown. Good strength once again from Tapa. Now Shakluna. Marauding forward on this near touchline is Pecora. Couldn't quite sort his feet out though, and he's going to have to track back quickly as Mitchell Malia looks to get forward. One touch to set himself. Second touch to find O'Brien, who blazes over. From about 8 yards out, it looked like, for all money, Blacktown would ice the game there. Last season's top goal scorer, of course, Jack O'Brien. When he's in that sort of position, you expect to see the net to bulge. Not on this occasion, I should say. We will see the first change of the match here for Lucas Valela's side. Or will we? Looks like another new signing, Muginga Mpota, being stripped and ready to come on. Another attacking outlet who was playing in the Victorian State League's system last season. Frankston Pines graduate. Meanwhile, Blacktown, again, looking to twist and turn and try and fashion something on the edge of the area. Was that man again, Jack O'Brien. Just looking to atone for that miss just moments ago. Pass is left just a little bit short of Dry Rose, but he's able to out-muscle Nick O'Brien. That takes some doing. And release Arthur DeLima. Looks to isolate his fullback here, DeLima. Goes past one. Doesn't go past Kresnar, though. Do you ever really go past Jacob Kresnar? And the Mariners will now take that opportunity to make that change. It will be Bailey Brantman who takes his leave for the afternoon. It's very impressive in the first half was Brantman, showing off a fantastic array of passing. Did create some absolute mayhem at times as well. Those in front of him unable to quite profit. Muginga Mpota will take his place, and I fancy Mpota will now lead the line, and maybe DeLima might look to sit a little bit deeper as that creative outlet. Other change, number 24, Kai Schumacher coming on. Mo, towering header from Aok Mo. DeLima trying to skip past Campbell. It's a well-timed sliding challenge that from Lachlan Campbell. Still they come here, the Mariners. Cleared as far as Shakluna. Now, Dry Rose. Little lay off to find a teammate, and Rose will have it back as well. Pecora sizing up the shots. Blocked off on the way through. Pecora gets it back. Pecora pulls one back for the coast. It's the Mariners with that never say die attitude. They've halved the deficit. Pecora opens his account for the season. And all of a sudden, With just shy of half an hour to go here in Lisarow, it's game on. Proving to be a good pickup in the opening rounds so far is Luca Pecora. Of course, made his move up the F3 from fellow academy side Bulls Academy. He came through their 20s and first grade setup there. Also had a stint at the Wanderers as well prior to that. And Marconi as well. Finds himself here on the coast and finds himself on the scoreboard. I'll tell you what, that wasn't far from adding a third to Blacktown's tally. Wachowski happy to watch that just flash across the face of his goal. Well, we could be set up for an absolute blockbuster finish to this one on the coast. Driven along towards Mpota, who's got pace. Wants to go around the outside of Campbell. Still Mpota, he's got strength as well, and he's brought down. Is Mpota. Referee feeling it was just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. In fairness, it did look like they had a good handful of each other, Mpota and Campbell, and we will see the first change of the afternoon for Mark Crittenden's side. Jack O'Brien takes his leave. Last season's top goal scorer for Blacktown, unable to add to his tally today. Well, what a luxury to be able to bring this player on. Danny Choi. Strength in depth, of course, at Blacktown City. They've also got the likes of Maxim Jez and Marty Fernandez on the bench waiting in the wings as well. Marty Fernandez scored in this fixture last season at Plume Park, opened the scoring in fact. Probably only a matter of time until we see him make his entrance. Meanwhile, Schumacher nodding that one forward. Flag is up on the near touch line for offside. De Lima just going a bit early. Well, the Mariners have clawed their way back into this one. I do remember last season as well, they were down 2-0 at this venue against Wollongong. It was that man, Arthur De Lima, who had an absolute day out. It was De Lima delight on that day as the Coast pulled it back to 3-2. Here he is now, De Lima. Rose just ran away from him. Kresnar able to release Major, who in turn releases Malia! Mitch Malia 2, Blacktown 3. And isn't he having a day out today? Just as the Mariners were looking like they had clawed their way back into this one, Mitchell Malia, with all his experience, all his guile, has broken the hearts of the Central Coast here. A former Mariners Academy product himself, as we said earlier in the piece, no stranger to scoring at this venue. And that's a composed finish. Pecora. Paragali. Looks to swing it wide, Paragali, in the direction of De Lima. Yellow shirts flooding forwards. Mo. Lay off for Shikluna. That's his sort of range. Not that time, though, just dragging it back wide. Didn't really make the sweetest or the cleanest of contact with us on that occasion, did Shikluna. We've certainly seen he's more than capable from that sort of range in the past. Caden Henderson Happy to watch it just be pulled harmlessly wide in the end. In turn, sending all the short options forward. Henderson in no mood to play out from the back. As we approach the final 20 or so minutes here at Plume Park. Rising highest and Pota. Mewett. Bit of aerial tennis before Major takes control of the situation. Clipped on the way through is McKinley. Free kick, Blacktown City. Ben Berry. Forward it goes towards Travis Major. Cross initially straight into the body of Mewett. He'll have it back, and now Adam Berry. Back to Ben Berry. Major. First touch to set himself. Second touch to cross. Repelled comfortably enough, and now Rose has some space, some green grass in front. Now DeLima. Flashing just wide, and I'm not too sure how much Caden Henderson knew about that one, in all honesty. Looked like the old bowler's trick, the slower ball, nearly deceiving the goalkeeper, and it certainly looked like it was much closer than Caden Henderson may have made out. Yeah, I fancy he may have seen it late as well. Well, that will be the final action for Arthur DeLima as Lucas Vallela goes to his bench once more. Jesse Mantell will enter the fray. Well, in spite of the scoreline, hasn't dampened the spirits of those in the Yellow Army across the far side of the field, as they look to try and spur their side on here. Here's Mantell, juggling over the head of Kresnar. It's a good touch. Pecora, Smith. Schumacher just keeps it moving. Mewett, striding forward. Now Mo. Looks to get at McKinley. Just closed in around him there, Aok Mo, and the Mariners have to go back and recycle a bit here. Eventually lifted in towards him. Pota, Mantell rising. Well, it's perhaps not the most likely of candidates there, Jesse Mantell. It did eventually fall onto his head as he rose to meet it, and the flag is up. Well, that halts any further progress for the Mariners. The Mariners still have, of course, Angus Reid and Lawrence Taylor on the bench as well. Lawrence Taylor had the double last week as well. But it will be Mark Crittenden who goes to his bench next. Mitchell Malia won't get the chance for his hat-trick against his former side. He takes his leave, as does Keanu Moore. On come Maxim Jez. I'll bring you confirmation of the other one in just a moment. I fancy it would have been Marty Fernandez. Schumacher. Here is Fernandez indeed. What a weapon to be able to bring off the bench, as we said. And he's won his side a corner. Maxim Jez, his first responsibility since entering the fray will be to take this corner. What's the delivery like? I fancy if Blacktown had a fourth here, that's certainly game, set, match. Hangs in the air for an age towards the back post. Schumacher rising to clear. Falls at the feet of Kresnar. Works wide now for Choi. Assessing, measuring the cross. Great cross. Fantastic header, just flashing wide. Wierzchowski was rooted to the spot There was very little he could have done about that if it had have nestled in there. What about the delivery from Danny Choi, though? When you talk about technique, absolute technicians, he's certainly one that comes to mind. Mantell bundled off it, but straight back to his feet and emerges with the ball. Now Rose playing more centrally, trying to slide one in the channel for Mo. Pops out for Schumacher. Rose again. Mewett overlapping. Rose instead goes inside. Shikluna. Now Mewett. Swings in the cross towards Mpota. Rising was Caden Henderson. And I'll tell you what, the sun, as we said, has disappeared behind us. The cloud cover is now coming in at Plume Park, and I fancy I've just seen a couple of flashes of lightning as well, off in the distance. Shikluna for the Mariners. Well stolen in by Maxim Jez, and it's a late challenge from Schumacher. Perhaps only saved by the fact that that's his first infringement. Not going into the referee's notebook, and we'll see another change for Mark Crittenden's side. Travis Major, the other goal scorer this afternoon, takes his leave. Jacob Maniti on in place of the Iceman, who was absolutely ice cold in his finish. Here's O'Brien, Nick O'Brien, of course. Well, on a bit of a different wavelength to Jacob Kresnar there. And Blacktown just looking to box in the coast here. Kresnar in the thick of it. Of course, Jacob Kresnar's younger brother had a very successful afternoon out at Broadmeadow Magic. First grade turning over Lambton Jaffers by 5-0. Meanwhile, our focus here is on Ayok Mo bursting into the area. Little back heel to find Jai Rose as well, who certainly looked like he had his heels clipped there. Referee completely unmoved. On we go. Maxim Jez now. Danny Choi is wide. Well, that will certainly be a talking point for hours to come, I'm sure. Particularly for those yellow and navy faithful. Weren't too many protests, in fairness, from those on field. Jai Rose perhaps just losing his balance at the crucial moment. Kresnar tries to go around the outside of Mantell. Looked like Mantell got a good chunk of the ball, but he also got a very good chunk of Jacob Kresnar there as well. Little smile from Jacob Kresnar, perhaps remembering his time here on the coast quite fondly. One would hope so. Nick O'Brien, here is Kresnar. First time cross. The strike at the end of it from Jez. Ballooning over the crossbar, and he holds his head in his hands. Looks towards the sky. Perhaps knowing he should have done better. We often laud the outstanding motor that Jacob Kresnar has as well. Still getting up and down that touchline. Just about 80 or so minutes in, and he's playing like we're barely 15 on the clock. Here's Mo. Shikluna. Oh, he's left it short of Rocco Smith, and Danny Choi might just have the opportunity. He pulls it back instead for Jez. Unselfish. And sliding in at the crucial moment there is Schumacher. That's a fantastic piece of last-ditch defending. They might just get the chance again. Well, denied by the flag. Save is made by Jack Wachowski in any case. Offside. Going against Blacktown City's number 3, Jared McKinley. Pecora now for the Mariners. Mpota. And Pecora again. Forced back again. All the passing lanes just blocked off. Little stretch in front of us from Pecora as well, who's got through a mountain of work tonight. Not over yet as well. He's still got more to do, and he's on the ball here. Mantell drifting wide. Pecora going inside himself. And straight into Jez, who releases Choi. Danny Choi adds a fourth. The release came from Marty Fernandez. The substitutes combine. Maxim Jez to Marty Fernandez to Danny Choi, who slides it home. And certainly gives Blacktown City their first 3 points of the season. Bouncing back from last week's disappointment in spectacular fashion here on the coast. Luca Pecora has stayed stricken on the ground since then. Perhaps a touch of cramp maybe for the Mariners fullback. We did see him just stretching out in front of us just moments before that goal. He did pull one back for the coast to halve the deficit earlier in the half, did Luca Pecora. But Blacktown City, since then, have really started running away from it, or running away with it, I should say. In fairness to the Travellers as well, no less than their performance deserves. The coast have toiled hard, haven't been short of opportunities, but just haven't been able to make them count. Well, Pecora's back up and about now, which is a good sign for the Central Coast. There's still about 10 or so minutes to go here at Plume Park as well, plus any time added on. It doesn't get any easier for the Central Coast Mariners either. After this game, they're on the road for 8 consecutive weeks. Next week, travelling down to Wollongong on Saturday, and then Sydney United away after that. As for Blacktown, they're back at home, back at Landon Stadium on Sunday next weekend. 3 p.m. that one, of course, for first grade as they take on Upper Leichhardt, who were in action earlier this afternoon. That one has just wrapped up, Upper Leichhardt, of course. As we just see how this plays out, it looks like Rose has taken a tumble again. Schumacher will keep it moving to Shikluna. Mewitz, Rose, back to his feet. Little nutmeg as well, and clipped on the way through. Here's a live wire. Jai Rose made many cameos off the bench last season, has developed into a starting player this season. Looks like he's going to be required to complete the full 90 here today as well. As we said, the other match this afternoon, Spirit FC running out 3-0 victors over Upper Leichhardt. Afuka, Kavanagh and Okubo, the goal scorers for Spirit FC. Clipped in towards the near post. Repelled comfortably enough. Fernandez riding the challenge here is Nick O'Brien. Referee says nothing doing after the challenge from Rocco Smith. On we go. The Mariners have made a change in the meantime. Luca Pecora unable to continue. Lawrence Taylor has been introduced, looking to add to his tally after his 2 goals last weekend. And Pota, good strength. Well, too much strength perhaps. Just knocking Lachlan Campbell off the ball. Caden Henderson, of course, in no real sort of rush to take the restart. Eventually back underway. Campbell. Ben Berry. Clipped forwards. giving Danny Choi something to chase. Flipped out as far as Schumacher. Mansell keeps it moving, and now Lawrence Taylor. Well, sending his opposite number 23 in Kresnar to the turf. Here's Smith. Now Angus Reid, who has also been introduced recently. I fancy the Mariners may have had a bit of a change of shape as well. Maybe looking to play three at the back now with Reid, Paragali and Smith. Lawrence Taylor and Ben Mewett to provide the industry out wide. Here is Taylor, assessing the options in front, unhappy with what was presented to him. Angus Reid. Taylor wants it, screaming for it on this near touch line, and just a little too far ahead of him. It was an industrious burst forwards from Taylor. The Mariners have now emptied their bench, of course. The only remaining party on the bench, reserve goalkeeper Joel Ways, who made his debut for the Coast last weekend, in place of Jack Wachowski, who was over in Japan with the Mariners senior side, as were a number of those involved from the start today, including Bailey Brantman, Arthur DeLima, Michael Paragali as well, who's being integrated with the senior side. That is the pathway that the Mariners do provide. No shortage of success stories. It's not always about the 3 points, of course. That's a raking crossfield ball there from Reid to unlock the corridor for Mewett. Now Shikluna forced to go back and recycle here. Paragali. Across the back it goes for Rocco Smith. He might just look to carry it forward himself. He does momentarily. Spots Henderson off his line. Henderson backtracking and able to pull that one down out of the sky. Well, that would have been spectacular from Rocco Smith. Good vision from the centre half anyway to see the keeper out. And as we said earlier, if you don't buy tickets, now here is Nick O'Brien. Again, across the back it goes. Ben Berry driving it forwards on that right-hand touchline, I should say. Jez stealing in. In behind it goes for Fernandez. Was just looking to lob that one over the top of the on-rushing Wachowski. It was wide. Didn't quite get the clean connection that sort of finish requires. As we said, Marty Fernandez on the score sheet last time these two sides met. He's got an assist for his efforts today off the bench. Smith just walking it forwards. No press offered by Blacktown City. Everyone behind the ball just looking to close off, block off all the passing lanes, which they've done for the most part today to great effect as well. Paragali sporting that fresh number 16 jersey. Rocco Smith. Well, looks to take on the game himself here, Smith. Now, Schumacher tried to keep it moving wide for Mewett. It was cut out in the end and fizzed back to Jack Wachowski. Does well to control it in the end. Here's Paragali. Shikluna. Sustained period of possession this for the Mariners. Well, there's the curse of the commentator. It's Adam Berry. Dinked in behind to try and unleash Jez. Wants to isolate Rocco Smith. Ben Mewett coming across to provide support. Just double teaming Jez there. Blacktown able to work it back across their back line now. Comes out to Nick O'Brien via Campbell. O'Brien, Maniti. There's that raking crossfield ball as well from Maniti. Tees up Berry. Now McKinley. Well, it's actually Adam Berry. Dinked in towards Jez. Blocked on the line. The follow-up is blocked again. Desperation stuff for the Mariners. It wasn't the cleanest, but whatever works. Here's Lachlan Campbell. Maniti moves it on. Adam Berry gets the return pass as well here, Adam Berry. Wide support is McKinley. First time delivery towards Choi with the late run. Another Blacktown corner. Well, it feels like it's been a minute since we've had one. We had about 3,500 in the first half, though. We're just ticking into the final seconds of regulation time here at Plume Park. I suspect we'll have about 3 minutes or so of time added on at the end of this one. In swinging in corner. Hung in the air for an age. Kresner couldn't quite guide his header on target. In fact, he's taken a touch off a Mariners player on the way through. So another corner for Blacktown City as we enter time added on at the end of this one. It will be 3 minutes. Maniti to take the corner. Adam Berry again offering the short option. Waved away. Maniti to swing this one in. Again towards the back stick. Decent enough header. Wachowski was well positioned to receive. Mpota, little wall pass there. Paragali, head up and scanning. Square ball for Shikluna. Taylor looks to skip inside. Now Shikluna again. There's that raking crossfield ball from Lucas Shikluna to find Mewitz. Again, everything in front of him just blocked off. Forced to go back and recycle. Paragali shifts it to Smith. Paragali again, twisting around the challenge of Fernandez. Angus Reid. Everyone behind the ball for Blacktown City. Wanting to preserve that 3-goal advantage they currently hold. Rocco Smith. Swings in the cross towards Mpota. Good strength again from Mpota to hold off the defender initially. Good layoff as well. Schumacher. Well, no, in fact, that wasn't Schumacher. That was Angus Reid getting forwards. The centre half in nosebleed territory there. Didn't quite get the direction required to test Caden Henderson, though. And that, I feel, may just about be that into the final minutes of time added on here at Plume Park. Caden Henderson will indeed, of course, take his time over the restart. Sends it half a world away eventually. Smith. Taylor. Taylor wants to take on the game here. The 223's tangling. Taylor just running out of real estate, and that will indeed be that here at Plume Park. As we wrap up round 3, it's Blacktown City who emerge the victors this afternoon. Their first 3 points of the season, well deserved, against the Central Coast Mariners Academy. 2 goals to Mitchell Malia, 1 for Travis Major, and Danny Choi to finish it all off. Luca Pecora managed to pull one back for the Coast, but it was only to be a consolation at the end of it. The Mariners go on in search of their first points of the season in the NPL men's competition as they travel to Wollongong next weekend. For Blacktown, well, they're back at home next weekend as they host Apia Leichhardt at 3 p.m. on Sunday. But from all of us here, on behalf of Football New South Wales and myself, Pete Pryor, cameraman Steve Roberts, absolute pleasure as always having your company. From me, it's bye for now.